What is up, my butter biscuits? Y'all, I knew this was going to happen. I told you guys that I was going to be going to Arizona for a few days, and I completely messed up. Can you guys believe that I filmed this video that I'm filming right now? I'm filming it again, and the Jeffree Star calling out James Charles video inside my car in Arizona, and I was going to edit it on my computer, and I completely forgot my computer, which is so stupid of me because I took my computer charger, but not my actual computer. So I filmed videos with my brother, and I was like, oh, perfect. I'm going to go over there on Thursday night so that way we can have an early start on Friday morning, and that way we can film, and then I'm going to edit it and have it up by Sunday, and then I'm also going to film for this channel as well too, and then me forgetting my computer just messed up everything. So now I'm like 5 days behind. So obviously we're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star, and then I am going to be filming another video of James Charles and Jeffree Star. Only because there is a whole lot to talk about. But I do have to say, like, before even getting into this video, I just kind of feel like stuff like this is just really, I don't know, like, I just don't see the point in it. Like, it all happened so long ago. Do you know what I mean? And I want to say, in my personal opinion, okay, this is just my opinion, I feel that Jeffree Star sometimes, y'all know I said it before, okay? Whenever he's coming out with a new collection or something like that, like he stirs the pot and it gets his name talked about and then he sells more product. I think that's what's happening here because ironically enough, I said it in my car inside my video. I was like, I feel like he's going to be having a, like a new merch or new something coming out. And then y'all, literally this morning as I'm filming this video, he put on Snapchat that he's going to be coming back to YouTube to do a reveal video of a big collection that he is going to be coming out with soon. And I'm like, Jeffree Star is just kind of like notorious for doing this, do you know what I mean? And I'm just kind of like, I understand that it works, but also at the same time too, I don't know, maybe you need to think of new ways to be innovative and not bring up old drama, because I feel like this stuff with James Charles and I feel like this stuff with Trisha Paytas, it's just like super old. And as you guys know, I already talked about Trisha Paytas and I said within my personal opinion before even getting to all the details of today's video, which this may be a little bit of a lengthy video because there's a lot to talk about. I did say in my previous video, I was like, I kind of felt like Trisha Paytas on her podcast was saying, oh, I don't know, I feel like we're fine. I think everything's cool between me and Jeffree, because maybe she didn't want to rehash that trauma. As you guys know, if you guys did not see that video, I said within that video, I was like, I just kind of like, I don't know, I got reminded of like when I ran into a friend before at a grocery store and they're like, oh, how's so-and-so who I used to be best friends with? And I'm like, oh, she's good. And it's like, we ain't talked in years. You know what I mean? Rather than telling this person that I haven't seen in so long all the drama, I'm just saying, oh, she's good. Like, let me just answer. Like, you can call that being fake or whatever, but I just feel like I'm not close enough with this person to sit there in the grocery store to be telling them, oh, we haven't talked because of this, and this. You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of felt like that's what Trisha Paytas was doing when she did have Terry Joe on her podcast. That was just my little 2 cents, obviously, if you guys did not check out that video. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star, because I'm a little bit confused. I did mention in my previous video as well too, I was like, okay, but Jeffree Star actually did an apology on Twitter too. I'll be reading that too. I got the tweet. He did an apology to Trisha. So I'm like, okay, you apologized for something. He didn't say what it was, but then you're over here saying that she was the one that did you dirty. So I'm like, which one is it? Because obviously you did some bad too. And I listened to the whole entire Bunnie Xo podcast with Jeffree Star on it, like literally every minute. And I'm like, he didn't admit to like any type of fault. He basically said, yeah, Hair by Jay said some things, you know, and that's pretty much it. But he didn't say what he had said. So I don't know, I'm a little thrown off by this because I'm like, okay, somebody is just getting the story a little bit twisted here, but I really do feel like these things are probably being rehashed to obviously sell a new collection, which I do want to say, it seems like Trisha Paytas was like really distraught about this. I'm probably going to be doing another video about Bunnie Xo and Trisha Paytas, which I'll talk about that within that video. It seems like she's really distraught about this whole situation with Jeffree Star, but I do have to say, I feel like it's generating views for her podcast, which by the way, her podcast is like really successful. It's getting hundreds of thousands of views. And then I saw the episode with Terry Joe actually got over 1 million views now. So I want to say like she's doing really good. So I feel like, yeah, maybe she's laying low out of the drama, but sometimes drama can, you know, help get some views. And she did talk about Jeffree Star within that Terry Joe podcast, and look, bam, 1 million views. So anyways, we're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star only within today's video. I probably do have 2 other videos coming out about like Trisha Paytas and James Charles with Jeffree Star. It's kind of a whole lot of the same thing, but I just felt like if I put it all in one video, this video would be like an hour long. So we're going to be doing that separately. Anyways, y'all, make sure you guys click the link down below, head over to my second channel, subscribe over there to my travel channel with my brother, and then make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up. I would appreciate that. And let's go ahead and get into it. All right, y'all, so I'm going to start this off with just a little bit of context. I'm not going to be playing the old videos because I do feel like that's going to get like really, really long, and there is a lot of videos. I was going through my screen recordings and I was like, oh my gosh, this video is going to be so long. So I'm basically just going to give you guys a little bit of context to jog your guys' memory into this. So basically, if you guys don't remember, a few years ago, they actually went on a group trip with Trisha Paytas, Jeffree Star, Hair by Jay, and Rich Lux. And basically during this time, Trisha Paytas was going through a lot, and it was alleged that she was doing some extracurricular activities, let's just say, with John Hill, Jaclyn Hill's ex, and basically Jeffree Star was trying to help her out during this time, and he flew her out to Vegas to go watch Mariah Carey. They apparently took her on a shopping trip and like bought her all kinds of things, and she had came back originally, if you guys do not remember, she came back and she said that she had the most amazing trip. It was so outstanding. She had such a great time and they treated her so good. But then just a little bit after that, a video was made by a guy named Tab, and basically he was alleging that Jeffree Star and Hair by Jay were making very foul comments about Trisha Paytas, and this is where she deleted that video, made another video, and like cried and said everything was just so horrible during this time. Actually, this is the reason why Trisha Paytas stopped talking to Shane Dawson, because she said that Shane Dawson did agree and take sides with Jeffree Star. I want to say throughout this whole entire situation, I'm just keeping it real with you guys, okay? As somebody who obviously is like into the drama and like, you know, pays attention to all these things, I wouldn't pick either which side. I feel like personally, in my personal opinion, I feel like Trisha Paytas has obviously been known to be a massive liar. She blows a lot of things out of proportion. She is very dramatic, obviously. But then also Jeffree Star is like that too. Do you know what I mean? Like he blows things out of proportion. He forgets pieces of story. And I just really feel like, honestly, between the both of them, I feel like that was a recipe for disaster. So we really don't know what the truth was. But I do want to say this though, Hair by Jay, and I do remember commenting on this, I was like, damn, that's so messed up. Honestly, y'all, I saw Hair by Jay like on live, and he was talking major trash about Trisha Paytas, calling her a walrus and saying, you know, all these things about her skin. And honestly, it's so crazy to me because I don't know if I'm sure I've told you guys this several times. When I was much younger, I'm talking about like 16, 17, 18, I didn't know how to handle my emotions. And whenever I was mad and whenever my friends did me wrong or my family did me wrong, y'all, I kind of was like Hair by Jay. Like I would lash out. Like I literally would just be calling my friends fat this and see this and like all this. Do you know what I mean? I would just literally, rather than communicating like, hey, you really hurt my feelings about this, I didn't know how at that age. But my friends schooled me at that time of like, you can't be lashing out on people like this. You can't be like screaming at them, cussing them out. And I learned at a very young age to correct myself and actually communicate with my friends and family and say, hey, what you did was really wrong and that hurt my feelings and I don't like that you did that. You know what I mean? So to see Hair by Jay, who was obviously grown at this time, I'm like, I get it. When you're mad, sometimes you want to blow up, you know what I mean? But at least have a conversation first. And if that conversation escalates to an argument, then I get it. But when you're on live saying these things, I was like, that's so wrong of him to do. Honestly, I feel like it was really messed up. So as you guys know, y'all, long story short, basically Jeffree Star had fired him, but then it came out like 2 weeks later that he was literally doing his hair again. Jeffree Star even tweeted this out during the time. He said, I've been in Wyoming and had no idea what was going on, just catching up now, and I'm horrified by what he said. Let's not pretend I had any part in that. And then also, this is where the apology comes in as well too, because he says right here, I have personally apologized to @Trisha Paytas several times last year about Vegas, and she never responded, which is her right. I respected it, and what happened is between us. Don't drag me into new drama, ... not interested. What someone else says does not represent me. So what I'm saying is right here, obviously before we get into these details, is why are you saying over here that Trisha Paytas owes you an apology, but you're over here saying that you apologized to her? So clearly you did have some type of wrongdoing. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, we're gonna fast forward to now. So now obviously it came out that Jeffree Star was on Bunnie Xo's podcast, and Bunnie Xo, I'm gonna do a separate video on this. She basically was a little bit upset at Trisha Paytas because she did cancel on her extremely last minute. So Jeffree Star did chime in and give his little 2 cents about Trisha Paytas. But I do want to say this. Jeffree Star did also say on that podcast that he could see himself being friends with Trisha Paytas again, but not Kat Von D, because they were talking about Kat Von D and he was like, no, never. We'll never be friends again, but maybe with Trisha Paytas. I do want to throw that out there. So maybe there is something there that he's like, you know what, maybe I do miss her. Maybe I really did enjoy our friendship, and maybe what happened between us really wasn't that bad. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and play a small clip right here. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and play 2 clips back to back so that way you guys can see it. I'm gonna go ahead and play the Jeffree Star clip with Rich Lux, and I'm also gonna be playing a small clip from the Bunnie Xo podcast.
I normally don't talk about drama because the old Jeffree, people just think things so differently than who I am. Yeah. So I just kind of stray away from that. And I don't like feeding into these things.
No, never.
But she did me really wrong. Oh. She made up all these lies, said I fat shamed her and called her all these things. Never happened.
Right.
Never happened. And then she gets in a fight.
Looking for clout too?
Of course she was.
Okay.
That was her shtick.
Right.
And it was at a time where people wanted to hate me and Shane Dawson.
Right.
So she picks a huge fight with my hairdresser, Jay, right here, and it just turned into a bloodbath.
Jay, how could you pick on Jay? He seems like a sweetheart.
And he went in on her, and the thing is like normal folks don't ever really hear someone like going in.
Right.
Like, yeah, when you're angry and you're hurt, you're gonna fucking lash out and you're gonna let someone have it.
Oh, if I tell somebody off, I'm a bully.
He told her off in the fucking funniest way, and they all tried to turn on us like we were the devil. I'm like, I literally just flew her to Vegas. We're front row at Mariah Carey. The internet starts turning on me and Shane during the pandemic. She flips and makes up a whole story. The vlog was filmed on her channel, her being in love with all of us. We go to Vegas, we take her on a shopping spree, we do all these amazing things. She deletes the vlog, makes up lies about me and him. And the internet at the time, they ran with it.
Right.
She hurt me deeply.
Aww.
And she's never apologized.
I hate that. Well, Trisha, if you're listening, I hope that maybe hearing his side of the story will make you want.
It was
to...
hurtful, and she knows it was.
Oh, I hate.
And
I
then we-
never
and
knew
then
any
we
of that.
never-
I'd stay out of the drama.
And then we never spoke again.
Wow.
And it was like, damn, it was really hurtful.
What triggered me was the, I don't remember. Now, I was on the trip. I lived it. I breathed it. No one else did. So you all can have opinions, perfectly fine, just like I do, but no, you were not there. I was such a good, loving friend. People keep wanting to mention the gifts. Who cares about any of that? Minus that, I was her real friend. She had just came off of doing heroin with Jaclyn Hill's ex-husband, and I saved her from the trenches and took her away from it. As she admitted, her skin was bad, she was coming off of drugs, and she was not in the right headspace. So I graciously took her in my nest, showered her with not only affection and love, but things to distract her. I know Mariah Carey doesn't buy friendship. I don't need to buy anyone's friendship. I loved and cared about her and got backstabbed for the 100th time.
So as y'all can see from right there, I feel like things are obviously a little bit confusing. Also, I do want to say, I don't know if Jeffree Star was coming across as genuine. In that actual clip right there, that TikTok that was sent to me, it did say right there that Jeffree Star weaponized Trisha Paytas' past drug use. I don't know necessarily. It's obviously up to your discretion. It's obviously up to your opinion if you guys feel like he was, weaponizing it. Because maybe it was true. Maybe he was just throwing it out there like, hey, during this time she was on drugs and I tried helping her out. Maybe that's not necessarily weaponizing it, but just stating a fact of like she was going through a really low point and I was trying to help her out. Do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't necessarily take that as weaponizing. You know what I mean? I would take it more so if he was like bashing. But I do have to say this though. I get really confused as to why would you apologize? But then now you're trying to say that she needs to apologize. I still stand by my opinion. I still really do feel like Trisha Paytas was really avoiding the topic. I feel like she was basically, new to this whole new podcast thing. And then obviously this is her first time meeting Terry Joe. And I think he had mentioned Jeffree Star, or maybe it was her. I'm really not too sure. But basically she just had said, oh, I don't really remember what it was. Jeffree Star's like really triggered by that, and I don't see why he's triggered by that, because I feel like any rational grown adult, especially like in their mid to late 30s, is going to be like, oh, okay, maybe they probably just said this because obviously they don't want to talk about it on a podcast and like rehash it out. Do you know what I mean? I know that there's obviously a different of perspective. Do you know what I mean? Me personally, I probably would have talked about it if I was on a podcast. I'm just going to be open and transparent 100%. But maybe Trisha's like, oh my gosh, I have this whole new life now. I'm married. I have a baby. I have this new podcast. I don't want to rehash this old stuff. So maybe that was her way of not hashing it out and like bringing it back up, because let's keep it real, y'all. Even if she were to say her side of the story, then Jeffree Star still would have been triggered and he still would have went onto the podcast and said this, and this. Do you know what I mean? But I personally feel like, y'all, this happened years ago, so like, why is it getting brought up now? I don't really know. But I do want to say though, low-key, it's probably beneficial for the both of them, because Jeffree Star is going to be coming out with a new collection, and then Trisha Paytas is over here with her new podcast that's getting hundreds of thousands of views and millions of views now too. Do you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, I feel like it's beneficial, and I just feel like stuff like this is like, in my personal opinion, it's a little bit old. But anyways, y'all, that is it for today's video. Make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, Girl Scout.